Coming to you live from our D.C. studio, I'm bringing you my report from the White House today about President Trump's game-changing Michigan rally. This wasn't just another campaign stop. It was a victory lap showcasing real results. While the liberal media keeps pushing their democracy in danger narrative, Trump laid out exactly how he fixed the border crisis in just 100 days without a single new law from Congress. But there's something even more significant happening here that nobody's talking about. The economic numbers he revealed have sent shockwaves through Washington, so keep watching. This story goes deeper than anyone expected. And now I have a noble gold investment alert. Gold has surged 46% in less than a year, doubling the gains of the NASDAQ and S&P 500. But this isn't just another rally. Global reserves are shifting, exposing cracks in the monetary system. Investors are losing confidence in paper, creating a massive gap between gold owed and gold available. But this is not how institutions broke another system. It's about how you can profit from it. And right now, Noble Gold Investments has investment-grade gold bars and coins available. As banks scramble to fulfill obligations, pushing gold prices higher, you can profit. Visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked below this video. And just tap more, and you'll find the link. And turn their panic into your profit. And the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. When you give them a call, tell Colin that Gary Franchi at Next News sent you. Okay, let's get into our report that I just filed at the White House just a few hours ago. Gary Franchi reporting just outside the White House for the Next News Network. Last night, President Trump held what many are calling a historic rally, celebrating his first 100 days back in office. And let me tell you something, this wasn't just any rally. It was a victory lap showcasing exactly what real leadership looks like. While the mainstream media continues their endless tantrum about democracy dying or whatever their talking point is today, Trump's been quietly, well, not that quietly, reshaping America in record time. First up, the border. Remember when we were told fixing the border was impossible without new laws, that it couldn't be done? Well, President Trump addressed this head on at the rally. Take a look at what he had to say.
For years, Joe Biden and the media told us that stopping the flood of illegal immigration was absolutely impossible. He said it was impossible. He didn't know what the hell anybody was talking about. He said it was impossible, that the president had no power to stop what was needed in the form of legislation. He needed legislation. He had no power to get it. But it turned out that all we needed was a new president.
All we needed was a new president, simple as that. After years of being told it couldn't be done, Trump has delivered, and the approach couldn't be clearer. Listen to this bombshell statement.
Democrats have vowed mass invasion and mass migration. We are delivering mass deportation, and it's happening very fast.
Mass deportation. Two words that terrify the D.C. establishment, but make perfect sense to regular Americans who just want their country back. And it's not just about illegal immigration numbers, it's about who was coming across that border under the last administration. That's right. The results? Border Patrol reports the fewest crossings in history. Look at this remarkable claim about what they've accomplished.
Nowhere has this transformation been more dramatic than our southern border. You have seen a change on your southern border that Sleepy Joe said couldn't happen. Sleepy Joe, the worst president in history, said it couldn't happen. The last administration engineered a massive border invasion, allowing gangs, cartels, and terrorists to infiltrate our communities and rape and murder our citizens, and that is being nice about it. That's actually being nice about it. They are the worst. But standing before you today, I can proudly report that this heinous betrayal is over and that we have achieved the most secure border in American history by far. In American history.
Secure border in American history. And he did it without Congress passing a single bill. The stark contrast could not be clearer. Now, let's talk about something affecting every single American, their wallet. The Biden-Harris administration presided over the worst inflation crisis in memory. Grocery bills doubled. Energy costs exploded. So what's changed in 100 days? Well, take a look at these incredible numbers.
And our first 100 days have also produced historic results in the battle to defeat Biden's inflation disaster and bring jobs and wealth back to America and bring them back to Michigan, okay? We want to bring it back. As an example, since I took office, the cost of eggs is down 87%. Now, right? You remember a few weeks ago before Thanksgiving, we heard about it I heard about it a long time ago. Before Thanksgiving, I heard about it. And then I was hearing that I wasn't president. This guy was barely president. Nobody knew, was he president? Who the hell was president? To this day, I say it was the one that operated the auto pen, but what do I know? But I was hearing about eggs, and then all of a sudden we have a great election victory. And my first week in office, they start screaming at me, "What about the price of eggs? Eggs, eggs." I said, "I've only been here for 6 days. I was there 6 days." I said, "What's wrong with eggs?" They said, "The price of eggs has gone through the roof and you won't be able to have them for Easter." So I put our very capable Brooke Rollins, who's our wonderful Commissioner of Agriculture that you know in Michigan. I said, "Brooke, I've only been here 6 days before I heard, maybe even less, maybe 5, maybe 4. But it was my first week. And I said, "Brooke, you got to save me here. I'm getting killed about eggs. What the hell's going on with eggs?" She said, "Well, you can't get them. The price is through the roof, and it looks like we're going to have a real problem for Easter. You're not going to have eggs." I said, "Brooke, that doesn't sound politically viable to me. That doesn't sound good. Because nobody's going to believe me when you get out there that it's Sleepy Joe Biden's fault. So, Brooke, you got to get going, Brooke, please." And she did a great job. And you had so many eggs for Easter, and your price was down 87% from that point. Prices are coming way down. You know, the fake news doesn't say it. They said, he pledged. Now, I pledged safe borders. I pledged all sorts of things. But they said, he pledged to bring prices down. Well, that's what I've done. They're trying to say the prices have gone up. Your energy, your car, your gasoline, they have 3 states this week, a couple of days ago, that were $1.98 a gallon. So gasoline prices are down by a lot. Energy prices are down. Mortgage rates actually just went down. Prescription drug prices just saw their largest monthly decline ever recorded. How about that? Remember what you heard. Prescription drug prices just took the biggest plunge ever since they've recorded the prices, which have basically gone up, except for my 4 years. They did pretty well, but we got to know that system. The system is a bad system, but they just took the biggest dive ever in the history of prescription drug prices. Think of that. That's a big thing. I got to say it again and again because they will never tell you that. The fake news will never tell you that. Grocery prices have gone down. Everything's gone down.
Egg prices down 87%. Prescription drug prices seeing the largest monthly decline ever recorded. Gasoline prices dropping significantly. Now, these aren't small tweaks. They are dramatic reversals from the economic disaster of the last administration. But the biggest economic changes might be coming from Trump's aggressive trade policies. Watch how American companies are responding.
Thanks for all of the things that we've done and to our policies. Trillions of dollars are now pouring into the United States because of common sense, just common sense. Apple, great company, was building everything in China. Now they just announced that they're spending $500 billion to invest in America, not in China. My friend Jensen from NVIDIA, they're spending, you know what NVIDIA is? They're spending $500 billion. TSMC, the biggest chip maker in the world by far from Taiwan, they're spending $200 billion in the United States. Amazon, $21 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. The Mac, $20 billion. Merck, Stellantis, General Motors are putting in billions and billions of dollars, and many other companies.
Apple moving $500 billion in investments from China back to America. NVIDIA putting in another $500 billion. Taiwan Semiconductor, Amazon, Johnson & Johnson, the list goes on. companies are rushing to invest trillions of dollars back into the United States. And what about the auto industry? Well, especially in Michigan? Well, check out the president's bold action.
To keep my promise to the great state of Michigan, I terminated Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate where you were mandated to buy an electric vehicle. You were mandated within just a few years to buy an electric vehicle. How about that? And you know what? They're great, but people don't. Not everybody wants them. You got to be able to buy a hybrid, a gasoline-powered car. You can buy lots of different cars, but you can't be mandated to do anything. And I've already proudly imposed a 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles, any foreign car, like they do, Tom. This is going to create more jobs in this state and this country. And to help these automakers bring their factories home as rapidly as possible, I've just signed an executive order to give partial tariff rebates to any company that assembles its cars right here in the U.S. In other words, if they can't make it in time because they have to do it here, otherwise they have it, I'm giving them a little bit of a break, right? They took in parts from all over the world. I don't want that. I want them to make their parts here. But I gave them a little bit of time. It's 15% and then 10% of the parts, so it's not so bad. Somebody would say, oh, well, that's a change in parts. It's not. It's called a little flexibility. The guys were crying. They love it. Everything's good. But just in case we can't get everything in time, we gave them a little bit. So it's 15% of the parts and then it's 10% of the parts. We give them a little time before we slaughter them if they don't do this.
A 25% tariff on foreign automobiles to protect American manufacturing, combined with tariff rebates for companies bringing production back to America. We're watching in real time as jobs that left for overseas are suddenly becoming American jobs again. Another cornerstone of the Trump administration's first 100 days has been completely reversing course on American energy production. The, quote, green policies of the previous administration, they were driving up costs and making America dependent on foreign energy. Now take a look at Donald Trump's America First energy policy.
We've ended the radical left war on American energy. We've stopped their crusade on coal. Did you see what I did the other day? Clean, beautiful coal. I said, you're not allowed to use the word coal unless you say clean, beautiful coal. So you have guys getting up, Department of Energy. We have great people at Department of Energy. They talk about clean, beautiful coal. You know, China uses coal. They're opening up a coal plant every week, a massive coal plant. But we're not allowed to use it, but now we are because last week I gave it absolute, total approval. And you know what I don't give approval to? Those stupid windmills that go round and round and round. And we've ended the Green New scam. We've reopened ANWR, the greatest drilling site anywhere in the world, in Alaska, and implemented the new energy policy of the United States. You know what it is? We have a policy. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. That's our policy.
Clean, beautiful coal. It's back. ANWR in Alaska, possibly the most productive oil field in America, has been reopened. And the administration has a simple energy policy: drill, baby, drill. And the results? Energy prices are dropping significantly compared to where they were under Biden-Harris. And American energy independence is returning, and it's returning fast. And one last area worth highlighting is Trump's focus on American health, and a move that has surprised many. He appointed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as his Secretary of Health and Human Services, and they're already making moves to clean up our food supply. And it is absolutely amazing. Watch this announcement that food industry lobbyists don't want you to see.
I established the new Presidential Commission to Make America Healthy Again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's doing a good job, Dr. Oz, right? He's doing a good job. And he's a little bit different, but I want to tell you, he's a great guy. He's a great guy, and he loves his country. Just last week, Bobby announced that we're banning 8 major artificial dyes from our food supply. Sounds good to me.
8 major artificial dyes banned from our food supply. That's just the beginning of what appears to be a major push to address the declining health of Americans. What we're seeing is not partisan politics as usual. It's just common sense. Now take a look at how Donald Trump describes his approach.
But we're ending the inflation nightmare, the worst that we've had probably in the history of our country, getting woke lunacy and transgender insanity the hell out of our government. We're stopping the indoctrination of our children, slashing billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. And above all, we're saving the American dream. We're making America great again, and it's happening fast, too. What the world has witnessed in the past 14 weeks is a revolution of common sense. That's all it is, really. We're conservative. You're conservative, you're liberal, whatever the hell. You know what it's all about? It's about common sense when you think about it. We're for common sense. We like strong borders. We like good education. We like low interest rates. We like being able to buy a beautiful car. And now deduct the interest on the loan. That's never happened before.
A revolution of common sense. Strong borders, good education, low interest rates. These aren't radical ideas. They are what any functioning country should provide its citizens. In just 100 days, we've witnessed one of the most dramatic turnarounds in American governance. And listen to this stunning admission about what is still to come.
We've accomplished more in 3 months than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or even 8 years. And we're just getting started. Believe me, we're just getting started.
We've accomplished more in 3 months than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or even 8 years, and we are just getting started. You heard him. Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed in Michigan wasn't just another Trump rally. It was a celebration of promises kept and a preview of what's to come. In just 100 days, we've seen a complete transformation of America's most pressing problems. The border crisis that seemed unsolvable fixed. The inflation nightmare crushing family budgets finally turning around. Our energy independence restored. And perhaps most importantly, jobs and factories that left our shores for decades, well, they are coming back home. None of these problems, none, required fancy new legislation or years of Washington committees. They required exactly what Trump delivered: decisive leadership and a willingness to put America first. And as the president himself said, we are just getting started. The first 100 days are merely the beginning of what's shaping up to be one of the most consequential presidencies in American history. And I'm here on the ground, reporting it for you. For the Next News Network, Gary Franchi reporting just outside the White House. So, Trump's Michigan rally wasn't just political theater. It was a blueprint for America's restoration. From border security to energy independence, from manufacturing jobs returning to plummeting food prices, the president laid out concrete results that directly impact American families. So the question that we need to ask ourselves tonight is this: why did the mainstream media tell us these problems couldn't be solved without lengthy congressional battles when all it took was decisive leadership from the Oval Office? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because we want to hear what you think about these remarkable achievements. And if you haven't yet, make sure you check out our merch shop, link below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, and support the network with your favorite gear.